Hi guys, I realise it's been a while since I've recorded a video. I've been so out and about doing different things that I haven't had a chance, but I want to show you something today. We're going to look not at the normal subjects I talk about of web design, but instead at a tool I use all of the time for my writing. Ulysses, it's called. Here it is in the App Store. It's about £30, I think, so it's not necessarily the cheapest app that you will ever come across in the App Store, but it is worth every penny if you write a lot like I do. So I'm always writing blog posts, writing reports, writing books, all kinds of things, and Ulysses is my go-to app, and I just want to show you a little bit about it. Here we go. It's £31.99 and worth every penny. So let's have a look at the app. Here is Ulysses, a very, very basic looking app, very, very simple. Basically, if we start on the left-hand side, you have a library. I keep all my stuff on iCloud, but you can equally have it running locally if you prefer. And then essentially what you are doing is a very flexible kind of folder grouping structure that you can do any way you want. So let's first of all look at blogging, which is a folder that I've created. So as I blog, as you can see, I've got different blog posts here. And then you've got this working environment where you actually write your posts. Now, I can hide away those columns and just focus down on my writing. And in fact, I can also go full screen on this. As you can see, I'm writing in Markdown. And I can go through and add anything that I want and write as normal. But notice things like images. One of the things that I like to do when I am writing is that I like to get it read back to me sometimes so that I can think about and listen to what I've written. The problem I always have is with images and links and things like that, that it reads me the content of the image and the URL and all that kind of stuff, which is really annoying. One of the things I like about Ulysses is it hides it all away under this little option here. And you get the same with links as well. So instead of putting all the link text in, it just shows you the text. You can double click on it and it tells you the URL. It also does some nice formatting things in terms of how it displays your Markdown. And it's generally a really nice, pleasant environment to work in. Let's just for a second create a new document. There's another thing that I really like about this, which is you can set it up in what's called typewriter mode. And so you can say that I always want the lines that I type to be roughly in the center. So as I go down, you notice that the page is moving rather than my cursor position. So I'm always looking at the same point of the screen. Now you can set where that appears in the screen. You might be somebody that likes to have your cursor lower down on the screen or higher up or whatever else. Now another thing you can do is set it up to highlight the current line. And this is a very nice trick as well because it lets you focus again on exactly what you're writing, which I find very useful. You can there are lots of other tricks of things you can do with the editing, but I just wanted to kind of introduce you to that particular theme. You can set up the look and feel obviously of this. Here we go. If we go in here, you can go through and set up the looks of things, whether how you want it to appear visually as you're typing. Once you've written a document, things get quite interesting. If you're writing, for example, a longer document, at the moment I'm writing a companion for my book Digital Adaptation, and as you can see I've got a draft, and that draft I've split up into all the different sections in the document, and at any one time I can concentrate on one particular section and I can write on that. But if I want to see the broader context of my document, what I can do is select all of the sections in here, and there you can see that they're all displayed as one long document. So it allows you to do really nice things like, for example, if my case for change section, if I decide I want to move that to a different place in my document, I can just drag it and drop it, and there you go, it's now in its new place. So it's a great way of allowing you to create more sizable documents like books or long reports. Another nice thing you can do is you can easily move sections of this document into other documents. So if there's boilerplate that you use across all your documents, it's easy to add that from one document into the next. Now, of course, where things get really interesting is where you want to export the information that you've got. So you select the whole of the document, and then what you can do is go to this export option here. And that allows you to export it in lots of different ways. You can export it as plain text or markdown. You can save it as a PDF. You can save it as HTML, or you can even save it as an ebook. Now, saving it in HTML is quite interesting because you can apply a theme to decide how you want it to display. It's got loads of themes built into it by default, but as you can see, I've created a new one called Boag World, which represents how it will look when it goes onto my site. So if I click Send to Safari, you see the layout of the document as it will appear on the new version of the Boag World site, which hasn't been released yet. So you can do all of the kind of formatting and stuff like that to make sure it looks right. So let's take a blog post, for example, and then we're going to send that to Safari. And there you go. That's what the blog post will look like when it's actually on my blog. So really great, useful things, but it's got loads more added into it that's worth mentioning as well. For example, when you're writing, often you need a word count and you need to know how long what you've written is. So there's a statistics button here that you can click, and it tells you how many words, sentences, paragraphs, etc. The other thing that I really like about this particular option is it'll tell you how long it takes for someone to read that document, which is really important when you're blogging to ensure that your blog posts don't become too long and too complicated. So that's another great feature that it's got. The other feature that I like, which is particularly useful for when you're writing longer documents, is an outline button. So you click on this and it'll show you the kind of hierarchy of the document that you want, and you can click on any particular part of that document and jump immediately to it. So it's a really flexible, really powerful text editor that is great for writing anything from ebooks to proposals to documents. What I really like about it in particular is the fact that you just write stuff in Markdown and then you can format it and output it in all kinds of different ways. So if we go into the preferences again, and I show you the Styles tab, you can see how there are all these different looks and feels and layouts of how your document might eventually look. And for you to go and create your own, as I've done on Boag World, it is really easy. It's just editing some CSS for the HTML that is outputted by Markdown. And you can control everything from how it's displayed as rich text to HTML and even in EPUB format. So if you're a regular writer and you're looking for a tool that really can give you control over the writing experience, then I highly recommend checking out Ulysses.